Good evening and thank you for joining us. We're going to begin with breaking news tonight, and it is dire. The U.S. has again set a record for deaths in the U.S. in a single day of this pandemic. More than 1,700 Americans have succumbed to coronavirus since we came on the air just last night. The death toll nationwide has more than tripled in 7 days to more than 12,000. And confirmed cases here in the U.S. are now approaching 400,000, although New York says it is starting to see the curve flatten there. There is also breaking news here in Washington. Today, the president fired the inspector general appointed to oversee that $2 trillion relief bill. The watchdog gone just as the White House asked Congress for another $250 billion for small businesses. And as we come on the air tonight, we are learning the acting secretary of the Navy has resigned. His departure comes after an uproar over his insulting the captain of the USS Theodore Roosevelt, who had sounded the alarm about the coronavirus. There is a lot of news to get to tonight, and our team of correspondents is standing by to cover it all. We begin again tonight with Mola Lenghi, who leads us off in New York City. Mola?
Well, Nora, as you mentioned, there are both hopeful and troublesome signs, especially here in New York City. These field hospitals, like the medical ship Comfort here, are playing a critical role in the response. There are currently 3 field hospitals throughout the city, with at least 3 more on the way. And while it wasn't in the initial plans, they are all now treating coronavirus patients.
A grim day in New York as it woke up to its single deadliest day so far. The battle rages on to protect those living with the virus. The U.S. Navy ship Comfort, now approved to treat 500 COVID-19 patients, is a lifeline for overwhelmed hospitals. Last night, a crew member tested positive and is now in isolation.
There's no impact to our operations and no impact clearly to the patients. In fact, it was a crew member not related to the medical treatment, but actually one of the ship's crew. But no impact to operations.
New York hospitals are trying to hold on.
When I left my house today, I sort of had mixed feelings. On one hand, I left my kids at home so that I could go and fight this war along with my colleagues.
Mount Sinai critical care physician Sanam Ahmed shared an inside look during her 12-hour shift.
We're, taking care of critically ill patients, but it's a bunch of teamwork, and we're having a pretty decent night considering how busy it's been.
Governor Cuomo said the rate of hospitalizations is continuing to slow, projecting that New York may be leveling off. Still, he couldn't ignore the magnitude of the death toll today.
Behind every one of those numbers is an individual, is a family, is a mother, is a father, is a sister, is a brother.
Today, New Jersey also hit a one-day high, at least 232 new deaths. A dozen indoor courts at the U.S. Open Tennis Center in Queens will soon serve double duty as a 350-bed field hospital. New projections show 4 states are now expected to hit their peaks earlier than expected. The elderly are being hit especially hard. A Pennsylvania nursing home is now operating under the presumption that all of its 800 patients and staff members are positive. At the state-run Holyoke Soldiers Home in Massachusetts, 18 military heroes tested positive for the virus and died.
Some of the veterans had passed away without their loved ones even knowing for a couple of days that they had passed.
It was a solemn scene at Arlington National Cemetery as soldiers wearing masks conducted a funeral service that was live streamed for family members unable to attend.
Of course, people with underlying conditions are the most vulnerable to coronavirus, especially those with hypertension. That appears to be the most common one seen in deaths. Now, as we noted, new cases do appear to be leveling off here in the city, but it's still unclear. Too early to tell whether that is a temporary or a lasting trend, Nora.
All right, Mola, thank you. I feel like we're seeing things every night we've never seen before.